All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Saja new dev team introduction. Ken is here, Donovan's here, Justin's here. I'm Adam Sheldon, your host for tonight's AMA. And obviously, I know you probably have questions, and I believe we have the answers today. And I'm excited because Saja, it has a lot of things that I believe that the market really needs. But this new dev team, they're going to explain exactly, what's going to happen going forward. And in any questions that you may, maybe having, or you may be on the fence or something, or you're just not sure, this is the place to be. So, Ken, how are you doing today?
Good, good. I mean, it's been a pretty hectic past week,
Right.
but finally assembled a strong team to move forward with. We found a developer, a new dev team to move forward with, so we could put the proper utilities into place and get them into a launchable state.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. I mean, having a good dev team is so important when it comes to projects, the trust, the consistency, the communication. And can you introduce the gentlemen that's right here, Donovan and Justin?
Yeah, so Donovan and JB, we call him Justin Black, is the new developer for Saja. He has a very, very impressive resume. I'm going to let him talk about his experiences. So I'm going to hand it off to you to introduce yourselves, Donovan and Justin.
Yeah, I'll start first. First off, I came into the Saja group as an early investor. Nothing major, but that's how I got exposure to the situation and got involved with the group. And here we are. So, I come from a mechanical background. I'm a mechanical engineer for the last 11 years with a company called CAS Incorporated. We in Oakland, California. We produce secondary aluminum, and I worked with them, helped bring that company up to the third largest scrapyard in the Bay Area. So I come from quite a bit of a different background than JB does. I'll let JB explain his background real quick, and then I'll take over from there, explaining the proposal that we have for the community.
Sure, awesome. JB, the floor is yours.
Hi there, my name is Justin Black. I'm excited to be here. I've been working professionally on the internet for around 25 years. I started my career working for ISPs that went through a bunch of purchases, and eventually getting to AT&T, and I worked in AT&T's backbone group and network architecture group for quite a few years. And then the early 2000s, I went to mp3.com, and I was involved in their IPO. And then from there, I did some nonprofit work, and I wrote policy at ICANN for how domain names and IP addresses are distributed on the internet. And then started a consulting company and did a bunch of enterprise class consulting across the globe. And then about 9 years ago, I came to the Bay Area, and I've been taking companies from stealth startup into the 200, 300 person range. And as COVID started, I wound down from our last sale, which was to Niantic. And then just kind of been doing entrepreneurial work since then. And Donovan and I have been working on partners on quite a few projects. And he brought this to the table, and I've been really excited. And I think I could be impactful immediately. And I believe in the mission of what Saja is trying to accomplish with fraud detection and validating tokens. And with that, I'll give it back to Donovan.
Yeah, guys. So myself being from a mechanical background and going into entrepreneurism and meeting JB, getting into crypto more and more, we all have had experiences with confusion, trying to explain somebody how to get into DeFi wallets and deal with Web3. And, it's just a lot of information for somebody that didn't necessarily grow up doing this. And it can get quite daunting for people to do, when somebody says, do your own research. Well, half the people involved coming from Coinbase, they don't even know what that means. So last night, while I was waiting for JB, I read the white paper, And something really stuck out to me in the white paper. I'm going to read it right now. It's under the solution. And it says here, to further support, no, wrong part. Our purpose is to protect investors from scam tokens and scammers by providing educational content on how to securely invest in the crypto space.
Okay.
So with my experience running an ISO certification for CAS 9000 and 14001, when you make a mission statement like that, you have to do what you say you're going to do. So I started thinking about that, and when JB got home, we our minds got together, as they have been doing really well lately, and this is what we came up with. So I'm going to announce right now the new deal. So we ran this by the dev team earlier today, so it's all pretty fresh, you guys. Understand that there's going to be things that we can't necessarily go into detail on, because this is going to be proprietary. We are going to be developing something that is for Saja, and that is going to be the Saja Defender platform. And this is going to be an intelligent cryptocurrency research platform. The idea behind this is that we want an interactive platform that helps walk people through the process of doing your own research. There'll be different ways that we do this, and those will all be done with machine learning algorithms, analyzing tokens from various data sources. Those data sources, for example, will be blockchain contracts, social media activities, news outlets. I'm going to give an example on news outlets. So my first rug pull that I experienced, I went and look at what I did wrong. What did I miss? And it was all the fake paid for news advertisements that were the dead giveaway that I didn't notice. So with our community, some of that information will be identified this news outlet that is completely bogus. Can you guys put it on the watch list? And we'll be able to do that and build this wealth of information within our own community through this subscribed members over time.
I think you're cutting in and out. It look like your
Without
audio's cutting in and out a little bit.
Detail on that. That's creating is when we do a scan on a token and we generate with our algorithms, let's say we generate a yellow flag. We'd like that yellow flag to lead to a tutorial that actually walks you through.
I think something's wrong with your internet connection that's causing the audio interruption. It looks like that is.
Provided with tools that have gone through vetting.
Okay, that's
and
better.
Is always getting better, learning. One thing that we've talked about is when we do identify rug pulls on the platform, you know, these will be broadcasted to the subscribers. And when we identify rug pulls, I'd like to have some live feeds on the platform where we actually sit down and break down the rug pull and identify the red flags in a live chat with our subscribers. We've also talked about the platform having a reflections ticker. And we've again, I've said the platform is flexible and scalable to whatever we can come up with as a community. If we start noticing as a community certain tendencies and trends in rug pulls, and we can come up with where to gather that data, that's where the community can directly impact the software and how it's written, and come back to us and say, hey, we're noticing everybody has this in common. And that might be a social media influencer. We are going to be able to vet social media influencers, devs, all the way down the line. So I'm going to segue that into when we had a question in the chat group about what's happening with the Saja Seal.
Right.
Well, I think we've come up with a robust idea on the Saja Seal, being that our vision for Saja Seal is to make it an industry standard, to the point where maybe it's even added on EtherScan or BSC scan, that a company has a Saja Seal. Just like you would see on the EtherScan, if a company has a web page or a Twitter account or all the other information that's there. We really want to become an industry standard, so that when a coin does ICO, they don't even want to do it without having a Saja Seal already on their dev members, their social media influencers, the token itself. And that will be a source of revenue, as those people are going to pay for that service, and that's all going to be accessible when we add a new dev or a new coin or a new influencer. That's all exclusive information for the subscribers. So I mean, I don't know. To me, I think this is an extremely valuable tool that is needed in the space. And I hope everybody's excited to hear that we've kind of taken it this route. This was something that was really more projected for like Q4 2022. But after JB and I's discussion last night, we felt like this is what needs to be on the forefront, and get this out and start getting Saja Defender as a known, reliable source, and really get our seal out there meaning something, so that people have confidence in our vetting process. And when we do the vetting, of course, it's all going to go through our algorithms. But when we vet these influencers and dev members, that's going to be a physical person that does that. And when we have scans of a token and it draws yellow flags, we're talking about having that even pop up, that person who submitted that coin or token. We'd like to have that pop up into a live chat instantly for them. Obviously, if you've got to be somebody awake and online to assist. But as we grow, it might even get to the point where there is 24-hour service. But giving the subscribers the tools they need and the education they need to make smart purchases and investments with the help of Saja Defender.
Okay. Very, very interesting and very, very informational. I had a question in the chart here. And he had a good question. I think maybe Ken can answer this. He says, can they explain what's going to happen with the investment we have already? That would be a good start, so people can have the confidence in the project.
Yeah, so the investments that you already have, you get to keep. The contract is alive. We're not doing a relaunch, we're doing a revival.
I hope that answered your question, Hector. Absolutely. Now, you were talking about the Saja Seal and the Saja Defender, but let's go back. Someone also answered the question. Someone was saying what happened in the first place, and maybe you can actually explain what happened, and then what are you doing going forward with the new utility, with the utility?
Okay, in terms of what happened within the contract or in the utility?
The utility and
Okay.
the contract, actually.
Right. So what happened over the week is that I'm not going to go into the details. A lot of people already know the details. They could have their own opinion. But the fact is that some tokens were taken out of the marketing wallet. Now, this is before we were able to multi-sig the wallet. As soon as I found out, I contacted our former dev Islam, and I had to multi-sig the wallet. But, the damage was already done. And that's what happened. That's what led to the sequence of events of what happened in the following week. I'm not going to get into that because that's the past.
Right.
People already know about it. We've been in Twitter space for 4 or 5 hours a day for like 3 days. Everyone could come to their own conclusion. The only thing is that I could say is actions speak louder than words. I'm still here. I made big sacrifices. all my former team members are out. I've assembled a much greater team, and we're moving forward. Now, in terms of the utility, our former dev was working on the utility. Unfortunately, he was not a full-time dev, so he didn't get too much done in the coding, in the source code, as JB looked, and he could explain a little bit more. Now, JB is a little bit different. He's a retired engineer, entrepreneur, and he's going to be working 10 to 12 hours a day coding for us. The first thing is to get Saja Defender back on track and expand on what we had. And as the project grows, we're going to evolve the Saja Defender into its own space. And as Donovan was saying, to create that standard in the industry. So Saja Defender moves on. It was put on the back burner for about a week because we were looking for a developer that's qualified enough to take over. And most of you know, it's hard to find a very good developer that's trustworthy and has the experience. Luckily, when I reached out to the community, I was able to get in touch with a great developer like JB. And the best thing is that he could give the commitment.
And he has a good track record. I heard good things about
he has an exceptional track record. I mean, you could look at his LinkedIn and,
I've heard of his work
when I was talking to him, when we were about to hire him. But, the fact of the matter is that utilities take time to code. Just to give you an idea from my conversation with JB, I think he said it takes like 80 to 100,000 lines of coding just to get the Saja Defender launchable. And, when you're working part-time and you have a full-time job, it takes a long time to put in 100,000 lines of coding. Now, someone like JB, Justin, he's full-time. He's working 10, 12 hours a day, which means that, we could be on track with the roadmap. The roadmap was the phase 2 for the Saja Defender was in the first quarter of 2022. And I think him working full time for a couple months, we'll be on track. And we'll have like the dashboard set up, we'll have the user interface, and I think it's going to be launchable state at that time. I'm going to let Justin elaborate on that since he's the dev.
Yes, Justin. Yes.
Yep. I think
I've heard your work from the Pokemon. I have.
So I didn't work on Pokemon. Let me be clear on that. So Pokemon Go bought a company that I was working with, a small team that I was working with, called 60.ai, and we built neural networks and SDKs for the phone to allow people to create AR software. So what we did was we were just able to map the environment with a single camera and create a 3D rendering of that environment without using things like LiDAR or a second camera or a different perspective. That has now been integrated into Pokemon Go, and that's what they use to map the environment to create. And as you can see now, Pokemon Go is much more interactive with the environment, not just you go to the open field, there's a monster there and you fight it. Now that monster can run behind a bench, or we can identify things like that. So that was powerful for their software, as well as it allows Niantic now to map the planet from a phone's perspective rather than satellite view or car view like Google Maps is. And I've always worked for companies that provide really extensive backend. If you look at the companies before that, those sales were much bigger than the Niantic sale. The Niantic sale was $30 million, and the company before that was $880 million, and then the company before that hasn't been bought or sold, but they recently had a valuation of $1 billion. So I'd like to work with small companies that are unicorns and that have a vision goal to build something out. So when I found Saja, or when Donovan brought Saja to me, I wasn't necessarily looking to work in a hardcore tech industry again per se. It's just been a long time, right?
Right.
But cryptocurrency is on the forefront, and I do love working with technology, cutting edge technologies. And now that Donovan's brought more DeFi into my life, where I've spent most of my time working with stablecoins, that now I'm I see a lot of areas where we can fill some gaps, and not just with the Saja project, but there's definitely other areas I'm starting to discover that can be built out and help the Web3 community really thrive, and also feel safe, because it seems like there is a lot, like, in the realm of ICOs, there seemed to be a lot of a noise there. And when you're trying to like find the needle in the haystack, I believe that that's what Defender is able to at least identify and help verify and help a consumer feel comfortable with their buys. Now to reiterate on the software development, I think that the previous developer had a good vision and idea, and I'm using some of those guidelines to help provide like myself with at least a skeleton of like how I want to like deploy and design this. But given 3 months, I could definitely feel like our development team, myself, Donovan, and whoever else we bring on over the next few months, will be able to accomplish at least maintaining the roadmap on a timeline, and we'll keep our holders happy and the value of our token to increase.
Yeah, I've noticed a fresh energy. This person said it best in the community. Fresh energy. People seem to be ready to move forward. I've always thought the Saja Defender and the Saja Seal was a great idea. And it's good the fact that you're working on it full time and being involved. Yes, that's.
Well, I will say that not every day is 10 to 14 hours a day, but Donovan and I have been working together a lot, and I think it came up recently to where like we often put in 10 to 14-hour days, but that's not necessarily like behind the keyboard coding. Like I might spend 3 to 6 hours a day or 3 to 5 hours a day doing that, and the rest of the time like planning and strategizing and trying to like do my own due diligence and research to figure out where the market fit is and how we can impact that immediately.
Absolutely. Here's a question. Are they LLC, and how many top wallets are owned by them?
Yes, we are LLC, and none of the top wallets are owned by us in terms of like team tokens. There was a small airdrop sent to the team. You got to incentivize. No one's going to work for free, but nowhere near the tokens that we had that we ended up burning from the team dev wallets.
And my original investment was under 1 BNB, so I'm not a whale by any means.
Very
but
cool.
just that much was enough to make me want to get involved.
Right.
Yeah, I think we have a great product that's going to help a lot of people get into the space.
Right. Keep them safe. I think that's the biggest thing.
Yep. And we've had some questions about, are we going to make an exchange? Right now we're not in the business of putting coins in your wallet. We're in the business of making sure that you put the right coins in your wallet. So let us focus on our strong points. One thing that gets overlooked is a lot of JB's experiences in securities and in hospitals and whatnot. That we want to make sure that we're doing our core values at the best. And then trust me, we're going to be looking at all the other opportunities. We got metaverse to think about. We've got all these things that are going to be being researched while we are implementing the current roadmap, so that when we do accomplish milestones, we already have the next one projected and planned.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, the difference is that, whatever we put on the roadmap, we're redoing the roadmap and the white paper, which should be out by tomorrow, is it? You guys?
No, we will be. So we just finished a draft that was approved by the dev team today, and we're hoping for a final draft to be completed within the next 4 or 5 days. Okay. So that was 1 week from when we came on.
Okay, so within 1 week of the new team coming on, we're going to have a new white paper, a new roadmap, and we're going to be able to execute on the roadmap, because obviously now where JB's coming from, the experience that he's coming from, and Saja Defender it's not a simple project. It's very good on paper, but to actually execute it and bring it into launchable state is a little bit more difficult than my current dev expected. And he didn't have the full-time status to work on it. And And that's why, we have to pick up where we left off. Now, with that being said, for someone like JB, Saja Defender is not a complex project, especially when he's working on it full time. Not only that, but we're going to be evolving and expanding on top of Defender, as Donovan was saying, step by step, but staying a step ahead. So even before we complete and execute the first step, we'll be on the second step. We'll have the second step getting ready to get started.
Yes, and then can you talk about the burn? You guys have a really kind of a burn plan, which I actually think is a really good idea. I do.
Yes.
This is a really creative idea, and it's
Yeah.
throughout duration time. I'm just going to bring it up a little bit. Do you mind kind of talking a little bit about, in case the people who don't know?
Okay, absolutely. I mean, so to launch this, propel this forward, create that movement back into moving forward, we had to really encourage the community, get the confidence of our community back, not the outside community. Our 4,000 investors in our Telegram. In order to do that, we had to make a lot of sacrifices. Again, I'm not going to go into details, but I'm the only one left on the team because I believe in the project. As many of you know, I have a passion for this. This wasn't just a hobby for me, and I want to make sure that everyone makes out well, and I want to create a project that's going to help everyone. People, Lions, and So I decided to make sacrifices, and the burn comes from that because we're burning our dev wallets. So actually, the burn that people are talking about right now, besides the burn that we have done, I think it's about 10.5 quads burned in the last 2 days.
Wow.
Now, we're doing 7 days of burn for Christmas, 7 days of Christmas. Until Christmas, we're burning 1.5 quad out of the dev wallet that's remaining with the tokens every day for 7 days at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. And today will be the third day.
Third day, yeah. That is
So,
very creative, and it's coming right from the dev wallets, which that's commitment right there. That's you don't really get that a lot in terms of burning dev wallets.
right.
It's saving lions at the heart of this project. Let's just leave it there.
Oh, that's easy for me to answer. I mean, we got an official partnership with the WCN. As a matter of fact, we're about to go into a contract with the Lion Whisperer in the beginning of January.
Right.
Yeah. So
yeah.
That answers it. There's nothing else left to be said about that.
Absolutely. And we've been talking about the utility. We're talking about the new dev team. Are you planning to add more to the team, or is it something that you're going to stick with this core group and then continue to build?
So it absolutely needs to grow. So as the platform grows, and requirement for specialized developers, as well as just more hands behind the keyboard sometimes. Additionally, as Donovan talked about, there's some vision there to add live support. So they will be interacting not just with the customers, but with the platform directly, because we're, as people who invest in coin, DeFi will be basically eating our own dog food here. But yes, so building, I think that the goal is to really come out and build out a core framework for the platform, and have Defender be our version 1 release. And as that grows, helps grow our token, we'll be able to have some inventory or some funding to be able to hire many more developers, which is why I sort of specialize in. Like I said, I could like to come into these stealth startups that have 4 to 10 people, and then help them grow their engineering teams from 200 to 300 people.
Right. And we have a question from the audience. What would you say to people who feel like it's a rug pull to gain trust back in the project?
Yeah, so I think that question was addressed. You've made very big sacrifices. I've lost not only my team wallet, but personal tokens as well, and a lot of it. I was a big holder of Saja, which I didn't sell, except that incident to take the ETH out, which is all put back in. And in the process, I lost 54 quads myself. Yes, I was a big holder. Well, the reason I'm a big holder is because I bought a lot with my personal funds. And plus of course, you know, I lost a lot in the team dev wallet as well. So if that's not convincing enough, I don't know.
That's
You know,
very
I'm still here. I'm still here.
Yeah, that is commitment right there, guys. That's a lot. That is a lot. If you don't know how much that would be, and out of your own pocket, you're still here, building up the team again. And I've always thought the Saja Defender and Saja Seal was a great idea. It's what's needed. It's in this day and age, that is what's needed. That's one of the things that's what's needed. And one more question here. It says, what is your biggest challenge with this project and how far do you see this token price to grow in 2022?
Yeah, so, you know, any of these projects, the biggest challenge is just management, execution, just like any business. In projection of growth for 2022, you know, with JB on the development team now, you know, the sky is the limit, literally.
Yeah.
Because this man has so much experience that he could probably put into put a utility into launchable state, any idea that we come up with. I truly believe that.
Yeah.
And that's the exciting thing. So when I was talking to JB, I was getting fear of missing out because I lost all my token, a lot of my tokens. I lost 2/3 of my tokens. So I'm like, oh man, I wish I had my tokens back. But you know, we're moving forward.
And I apologize from JB. I really thought you was involved in the Pokemon, but with your background, I mean, it's very easy to me, it's very easy to look at he was involved. So I do apologize, but you should not sell yourself short. You do have a lot of experience.
Well, thank you. I do appreciate that. And it's, I just wanted to be clear so that someone doesn't go back to, you know, my
right. Sorry.
Niantic who are there now and be like, oh, I heard you guys wrote you know, Pokemon Go. Like, no, but they do. You know, this happens a lot with any large company, and maybe Saja will be the same. Or like as we, you know, develop liquidity, we're able to acquire teams that integrate well into the ecosystem that we're trying to create. So yeah, I think everybody's, from my end, and I can speak for Donovan as well on this, we're both very excited to be here. And I feel like if you want to follow me on GitHub, I won't have the project public, but at least you can see how many commits I'm creating per day on the project. And hopefully that will, and maybe somewhere down the line, we are creating some open source software so that you can see that Saja is legitimate and the real deal and not a rug pull, and which is exactly what we're trying to the platform that we're trying to create for our consumers.
Absolutely. And I do want to elaborate on what JB is saying based on that. Yeah, so one of the things is that one of the things that we lacked before was consistent updates on the progress of the utility, which you know, a lot of people invested in our project because of the Saja Defender. Now, our you know, former dev was very busy. You know, he wasn't a full-time dev, so we lacked the updates on the utility. So a lot of people started losing confidence. Now with JB and Don on the team, they're going to be giving updates consistently. I mean, they want to check in with me like 1 or 2 times a day. I said that's a little bit too much. You don't have to do that. But if you want to do it every couple of days and stay active in the Telegram, stay active in the AMAs, and give updates on your progress. You know, people want to see the progress. And I think another thing that JB brings to the table that that was lacking of our you know, former dev is the passion was lost along the way. You know, I think JB has the passion, and like anything in business, if you don't have the passion, you're not going to succeed. And I could just tell by, you know, speaking with Donovan and JB that these guys are into it. And I could hear the enthusiasm and the confidence in their voice when they speak. And that makes it real for me.
Yeah, that was one of my questions about the passion and about updates, which is so important. And then even having AMAs like this, you know, hey, if there's something really good coming up, let's come and meet and talk about it, because it's so important. Because I'm seeing in here, people are saying things like, thank you, this was needed. You know, stuff like this means a lot to the communities. I always say AMAs is probably one of the most important things you can do now. I mean, if even it's through YouTube or your Telegram or anything like that, because people want to feel good about what they have, or they want to know what's coming up, you know, or they just want to talk to the dev. Hey, how's it going? How's it going, JB? And what's coming up with the Saja Defender? What are some of the challenges? Can you tell me some things I'm here where it's going to make me feel even more confident about it? So I do believe this, and I am glad you're on board, JB. I mean, I think this is going to really help out Saja.
Absolutely, and it's a pleasure to be on here, and I appreciate, you know, one, the community involvement, and I'll even say that, like, we're here for the long run, and so we're like we want to provide daily updates to our community on development progress, and maybe weekly updates to, you know, news, like some sort of like news announcements on you know, where we're at. So full transparency was something that I really think that, like, as this token becomes a community token, is really important. And the only thing I really can't share is the intellectual property on how things are built. But anything outside from that, I'm in our Telegram all day long, all night long, and trying to respond to people. And if you have any questions, feel free to get there, or hit me on Twitter or wherever. I'm just available for questions and concerns, and any feedback is great, so that it helps me develop a better product.
Absolutely. And Donovan, absolutely. Do you have any words to say as well? I agree with the transparency. There's so much room in this space. As long as you're doing things the right way, you will grow. And in my opinion, because people are sitting waiting. They're just waiting, man. They really are. They're waiting. And to come together and having something people can believe in. That's what people want. They want something to believe in. I mean, and if you are there to be consistent with your approach, be transparency, just like JB said, it has potential to go farther than you ever believed. And Donovan, can you say a few things?
What was that last part?
I was just saying, do you have any words to say about the going forward, the new energy, the transparency?
You know, I've just had such a good time getting to know people in the chat room, getting involved in the chat room. It's affecting my sleep. I can't sleep. I'm so excited. You know, we're going to probably take tomorrow off. So if you guys don't hear from us tomorrow, we kind of just need, we did a lot in the last 3 days, but we're ready to hit the ground Monday again and just start producing for this team. And yeah, it's exciting times. You know, we're getting a chance to really provide something, like you said, that is actually needed, something that people actually want.
It is.
Instead of something that people, you know, think they want. This is right. A tool for anybody getting off of Coinbase. This should be like step one.
Right. I agree. We've got some good compliments. People are excited about it. And yes, take the day off. Absolutely. If that's okay. Because it's good to have some, you know, rest for you can be refreshed for the next day. And Ken, any final words as well?
Yeah, so, you know, I've assembled a much stronger and bigger team as well, too. You know, our former partners, you know, it was really the three of us, you know, me, Islam, and Brandon, and it wasn't really focused. It wasn't really focused. You know, the communication could have been much better. Even as a much tighter team, you know, we lacked the communication. With the stronger team of 7, you know, we're going to be focusing a lot. You know, of course, JB and Donovan's going to be on the back end. They're going to be doing the developing and the updating on that. That's important for the project, for the utility. But on the front end, we're going to be focusing on marketing, you know, getting the social media presence, getting the visibility. So as you were saying, like these AMAs, we're planning to go on Twitter Spaces. So, you know, we could tell our story. You know, we could let people know what the direction of our project is, so other people can't decide that for us on their own Twitter space, which has been happening in the last week. So, you know, we want to make sure that people are not listening to other people's narratives and they're getting the full story. You know, come to our Telegram. We have an extremely friendly and welcoming community. You know, we would love to have you. We're all going to be on the Telegram. You could access all of us. You could DM all of us, any personal questions. And if you have some reluctance, we'll do our best to address those concerns.
I'm horrible at basketball, by the way. Hey, somebody mentioned something about the, saving the Lions.
Yeah.
That JB and I are cat guys. No worries about that. We need to focus on getting this thing utilities. But
right.
I can't wait to get into that aspect of this project, but it's just so not in our wheelhouse right now. But absolutely, it's not a gimmick. And if it was, it won't be after JB and I get involved because we're cat guys.
Yes. Ken, I have a question for you in terms of partnerships.
Sure.
When we were talking about before the WCN, that was a very really home run in terms of partnership. That was major. What's any other partnership that you kind of thinking about right now? Or
well, I'll tell you, the Lion Whisperer, Kevin Richardson. Now, if you thought WCN was major, check out his social media. The man's got 4 million followers on Instagram, YouTube, and this is the type of guy that likes to promote his partners. It's not like a big organization like WCN where it's just like, they're in the backside, and they might throw a tweet here and there. But from what I hear, I've been talking with the representatives that his agent that represents him, plus his I don't know what you call it, but the lady that does all the media for him, that got him started out on social media, I guess like an agent for the media, but she's the one that built him up to 4 million. And the last call that I had, she was very impressed. And as a matter of fact, a couple of days ago, I got an email saying that they want to get started in the beginning of 2022. So, once we sign the contract, and the ink is dry, it's a done deal. And, we're going to really try to maximize that relationship, because it's an opportunity to get huge exposure, do the right thing, help the Lions, and attract more people as well, too.
So you're saying Kevin Richardson, the Lions Whisperer, that?
Yeah, that's him. Yeah, it took a while to, I had to jump on 2-3 Zoom calls, but you know me, I get things done.
Man,
yeah, it's all about execution.
That's pretty major. I don't think people realize how. Yes, he's awesome. Yeah, yes. When I get official, yeah, definitely, that will be definitely something to talk about.
Yeah. Beginning of next year, I could have done it end of this year, but wanted to kind of take it easy. Then when this happened, I'm like, you know what, I'm going to push it to next year. Just make it clean for the beginning of next year. But I did get the email saying that they're excited to get things started as soon as possible in 2022. So, it's a matter of doing the legwork now, the paperwork.
Absolutely. I mean, he's known as the Lion Whisperer. I mean, that's kind of what he. Yeah. So whenever.
As a matter of fact, when I get Kevin Richardson on board, I'm gonna bring him on your channel.
Yes, please.
So, that's gonna help you out. It's gonna bring exposure to your channel. It's gonna help him out because he's doing the right thing. Once we partner up, like the sky is the limit. And the fact that you're impressed by him, I'll definitely try to get him on your channel.
I am.
Yeah.
I am, because this guy's got like a million followers. Like,
he's got 4.3 or 4.2 million. Yeah, I mean, he's big time. Millions.
Yeah. Like, this guy's really well known in that industry in terms of Lions and personality and educating. Yeah, I've definitely heard of him. Yeah, that would be great. Oh yeah, bring him on. I'm just thinking.
I mean, all these major organizations, I vet them out before I do due diligence. There's a lot of organizations that could deal with, but at the same time, there's only a limited amount of resource and time that we have to create these collaborations, right? I'm not going to go out and try to create 10 small relationships. I'd rather have 2-3 big relationships that's going to create a mutual benefit for both sides. So WCM was one. The Lion Whisperer was recommended to me, so I did the due diligence and I saw what I liked. When I spoke to his agent, I like the fact that he has a private sanctuary in South Africa, and he personally takes care of think it was like 21 or 22 lions in that sanctuary. So it's more micromanaged than just saying, oh, you donate to ABC organization just so they could save the lions. This is a lot more specific, and I like that. I like that. And he has his own foundation set up. We're going to start by supporting that foundation so we know exactly where the money is going and exactly how it's being spent to help those 21, 22 lions in sanctuary. And, we're going to be getting updates about that. So, these, a lot of these big organizations, they vet us out too. They do the due diligence, they look at the website. In spite of what happened, last week, we're continuing. They see me as a person. They know that I'm very passionate about my vision about of helping the lions, and of course, moving our project forward as well, helping humans.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, this person mentioned Dean. I haven't heard too much about him, but he's also a lion whisperer with 1 million followers.
Right. So Dean Schneider, I was recommended to him as well. I did send him one message. Now, here's the thing, and this was brought up by the agent from the Lion Whisperer. He said that you have to be careful who you connect with as well, because some organizations don't agree with the other major organizations' principles or outlook, and that could create a conflict of interest as well. So when I got to the Lion Whisperer, they kind of hinted Dean Schneider was one of them. I don't know, for whatever reason. So I stopped pursuing it because I saw the value in the Lion Whisperer. I saw the true value because, Dean Schneider, I think he's a little bit more diverse in what kind of animals he's supporting. Lion Whisperer is just a lion whisperer,
Right.
And, when I was talking, they kind of hinted about the conflict of interest with like other organizations and to just understand the relationship. I asked about the WCN and they were okay with the WCN. So we're good to go.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't had too much information on Dean, but Kevin Richardson, no question, I've heard of him. Follow him. I watched a lot of his stuff in the past. When you mentioned him, I'm like, that's pretty major.
I mean, we're going for, we're going for the sky. Like when I do something, you got to do it big. Go big or go home, and that's what Saja's about. Now we got to go big with the utility. We have the ability to do that. Supporting the lions. Work with the best.
Right. And Improv 2021. So they have a patch for lions. What does this have to do with the token?
Oh, it's a charity token.
Right.
We're helping to support a cause, which is actual utility, because we're actually giving back and creating value in the real world. Now, with that being said, that's not the only value that we're creating.
Right. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely charity token, but you have the utility of the Saja Defender. You have the dev team experience to be able to expand on that. And then heck, the partnerships. I mean, with Kevin Richardson getting his awareness, and there's a lot to at least look into. Obviously, do your research, but there's a lot to look into. Improve 2021. And the partnership they have already is actually spot on with WCN. That was a really good one right there.
The Lion Recovery Fund, that's huge because they support
tremendously. It really is.
Conserving the habitat of lions. That's supported by DiCaprio Foundation, Disney. The big names, and that's important because that means that organization is credible. Every single dime that we're donating to the LRF is going towards lions. Not being scalped by the management or executives in between, but it's going to help the lions. And that was important to me when I was doing the due diligence.
Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, absolutely. I mean, saving lions, making things happen. And I just can't get over Kevin Richardson. Oh my goodness. I'm a fan of his. So, guys, any final thoughts as we wrap up the AMA? We could start with you, JB, Justin Black.
apologize. Keep them on mic. Anyway, I just want to say thank you very much for having me here. We're really excited, and like I said, I'm available for Q&A or just anything else in the Telegram or Twitter sphere. Just hit me up.
Absolutely. And Mr. Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah, just so JB and I's next action items are we'll be working on the white paper and getting the roadmap revised. We are, just so that the community knows, we are aware of the lack of technicality in the last white paper, and that is why it is going to take a few more days, and we have to do some analysis on that so that what we write is what we're going to do, and we want to be able to be held accountable to that. So we're going to put a little extra due diligence in it, and we'll get back to the group. I'll be updating you guys daily in the chat room. DM me if you have any questions. And other than that, I appreciate everybody that has stayed on. I suggest if you still have coins, hold on to them. Give us a couple weeks and see what you think then. But yeah, I have a feeling that we're going to take this somewhere. We're going to have something that everybody's going to be really proud of.
Absolutely. And Ken, your final thoughts.
Yeah, my final word is, again, just come to our Telegram and speak to us as humans. You know, we're always around. We're always available. We're not ghosts like in the Telegram. It's not like we just only come on AMAs just to represent the token, our project. But, you know, people in our Telegram know that we're always available. And that human interaction, that engagement, I think is the most important thing. So come and ask any question you want. You have any reluctance? You know, there's no stupid question.
Right. Yeah, I mean, the Telegram is probably you're right. It is the main source of getting that information, and I can put it in the chat as well. I could just pin it in there in a few minutes. I do have it in the description as well, but let me pin it at the top, and just to make sure everyone has it, because a lot of times what happens is people have questions, but they don't go on the Telegram and get them answered. And so I really want people to start doing that more. Then that's gonna make you feel comfortable about, you know, yourself going forward. So I've got it in the chat. I'm gonna pin it at the top, and it is pinned. There we go. So you should check it out there. That's the Telegram group of Saja. And we are moving forward in a positive way. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you guys for joining me. New dev team, congratulations. Ken, your heart and your passion, it does show, man. It shows.
Thank you, Adam. And again, thank you for your time and having us on. And anytime, you know, that we have some updates, I'll be in touch.
Yes.
Come.
You
know, I'll try to get Kevin Richardson on your channel. You know, if you'd like to have him.
I would love to have him.
Yeah. But I'll try to make it work.
Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much, guys.
It was nice to meet you, Adam.
Nice to meet you too.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll talk to you later.